It's a secret war. Unmanned aircraft operated out of nondescript rooms, tracking suspected terrorists, firing on targets half a world away. Not a video game, this is deadly. By most estimates, killing more than 2,000 people since Barack Obama became president. Under criticism that this is a secret war with no accountability, the president now wants to take it out of the shadows and is calling for new limits, even saying the war on terror must eventually end.
This war, like all wars, must end. That's what history advises. That's what our democracy demands.
In the meantime, strict rules on the use of drones, now only to be used on targets posing an imminent and ongoing threat to the U.S., and only when there is near certainty that no civilians will be hurt or killed, and they are never to be used to punish terrorists for past attacks. As for the controversial targeting of American citizens turned terrorists,
I do not believe it would be constitutional for the government to target and kill any U.S. citizen with a drone or with a shotgun without due process.
The president once again made the case for closing the prison at Guantanamo Bay. At one point, an anti-war protester tried to shout him down.
Why was he killed?
Let me finish, ma'am. This is part of free speech, is you being able to speak, but also you listening, and me being able to speak.
She interrupted him 3 separate times.
Out of the hands of the CIA.
I'm willing to cut the young lady who interrupted me some slack, because it's worth being passionate about.
Thank you for joining us on EVC News today. I'm KaylaJimenez. Controversy over Obama's war on terror has many people questioning what actions Obama has taken in order to end the war. Obama's drone strikes, which he once justified, are now in pursuit of being abandoned, while his attempt to close Guantanamo Bay is being set back due to decisions by Congress. Let's begin with the more general question. What is Obama's position on the war on terror? Obama claims to have only used armed force because he could not immediately reverse the war he inherited from George W. Bush. He currently wants to roll back on some of the aspects of the U.S. war on terror, as well as a narrowed scope of the drone campaign against al-Qaeda and its allies. Some actions Obama has taken against the war on terror are Obama has called to repeal the authorization for use of military force, which was passed in September of 2001, which is the legal basis for the war on terror. He is also attempting to lift restrictions on transfers of current detainees back to Yemen. Obama faces a lot of opposition, mainly from Congress, and mainly from Republicans in Congress. Many of Obama's attempts have been held back because of Congress. Obama once justified his use of drone strikes in the war on terror. Why a sudden change or decision to abandon these drone strikes? I believe Obama has always showed remorse for the civilian casualties from drone strikes. While the drone strikes were a successful tactic, Obama has not yet released a statement stating why he wants to abandon the use of drone strikes. I cannot speak for him. Another controversial issue is Obama's decision to close Guantanamo Bay. Do you think this is a good idea? I personally believe that the closing of Guantanamo Bay would not be a good idea. Closing this prison, in which some of the most powerful terrorists are held, would only put America in danger. The question is it fair to risk the lives of Americans? Paula Valencia has on how the U.S. is currently fighting this war.
Thank you, Kayla. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Paola Valencia. There are many things that are happening when dealing with war. But first of all, the big question always comes down to be, who is the U.S. in war with? And well, actually, the U.S. has withdrawn from Iraq and is planning to do likewise from Afghanistan in 2014. So actually, when you ask a person how many wars is the U.S. fighting, they answer 2. But actually, there are 5. Most of which are unannounced and undeclared and are fought with air power and robotic technology. U.S. is actually involved in at least 3 wars, in Pakistan, Yemen, and Somalia, in addition to Iraq and Afghanistan. The U.S. still has some 70,000 troops deployed in Afghanistan with withdrawal schedules by the end of 2014. And while the U.S. was officially withdrawn its forces from Iraq, it maintains thousands of private contractors and State Department personnel in the country, and in addition has expanded its its troops' presence just across the border in Kuwait. Besides that, the unannounced wars are fought mainly with air power and increasingly with drones rather than the ground troops. Now to move on, I've found out that since 2001, the US defense budget has increased by more than trillions of dollars, not including the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And actually today, the US military operations are involved in a score of countries across all 5 continents. The US military is the world's largest landlord with significant military facilities in nations around the world and with significant presence like in Bahrain, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and many more. Some of these are vast, such as the Al Udeid Air Force Base in Qatar, the former headquarters of the United States Central Command, which recently expanded to accommodate up to 10,000 troops and 120 aircraft. The U.S. Central Command, also known as CENTCOM, is active in 20 countries across the Middle Eastern region and is actively ramping up military training, counterterrorism programs, logistic support, and funding to the military in various nations. Also not to mention that the U.S. spends around billions of dollars per year in direct military aid to Pakistan and spends billions of Pakistan's military as reimbursement for expenses spent by Pakistan in providing assistance to U.S. military operations. Now, as I've mentioned before, many of the undeclared wars are being fought primarily with air power rather than ground troops. The U.S. has rapidly escalated its use of robotic warfare, including UAVs. Drones have been deployed repeatedly against suspected terrorists in various countries without any formal declaration of war and without congressional approval. They appear to be a weapon of choice for the Obama administration. And finally, the CIA, rather than the regular armed forces, conduct much of this covert robotic warfare. Now we have a special visitor that was just deployed from Afghanistan. Let's welcome General Luis Martinez.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Luis. Welcome again. What do you know about the military tactics being utilized by Barack Obama?
The military tactics being utilized today are different as opposed to the Cold War era. President Obama is focused in investing in the future. For instance, better counterterrorism, countering weapons of mass destruction, intelligence, and reconnaissance. As a result, covert activities are becoming more advanced and being conducted more frequently. For example, there has been 316 drone strikes, killing an estimated 2,363 people. Furthermore, I am aware that the U.S. is going to destroy serious chemical munitions by 2014. In addition, there has been an increase in Navy patrols in Somalia.
Now tell us, what are the specific military tactics being utilized?
The covert activities that are being conducted are drone attacks, command operations, and targeted killings of terrorists. An example of the tactics that have been utilized is the killing of Osama bin Laden in Pakistan and al-Awlaki in Yemen. Furthermore, there has been an increase of drone strikes in Pakistan, and hostage rescue situations have been carried out by Navy SEALs.
And lastly, has there been any military improvement?
Yes, there has been an improvement in soldiers' body armor, weapons, and even an increase in our pay. The military improvements are highly due to the fact that President Obama wants a more modern military force. Thank you.
Hello everyone again. So now we have another guest, a residential citizen from California. So now we're gonna ask him what he thinks, whether he agrees or not with what Luis just mentioned. Please tell us, do you agree with these tactics? Explain why or why not.
The tactics used by the United States on fighting the war on terror in the Middle Eastern countries, I do not agree nor support it. Because of the many drone strikes in Yemen and Pakistan on multiple targets, many civilians have been drastically affected, in most cases losing their lives. Many innocent civilians have been taken away due to the U.S. heavily using drones to drop their missiles into the urban cities of Pakistan and Yemen.
Unless we discipline our thinking, our definitions, our actions, we may be drawn into more wars we don't need to fight, or continue to grant presidents unbound powers more suited for traditional armed conflicts between nation states. So I look forward to engaging Congress and the American people in efforts to refine and ultimately repeal the AUMF's mandate. And I will not sign laws designed to expand this mandate further. Our systematic effort to dismantle terrorist organizations must continue. But this war, like all wars, must end. That's what history advises. That's what our democracy demands.